right, guys, welcome back to the Triple J podcast. It's been officially 2 episodes, so I can officially say welcome back. If you are new to the show and don't know me, my name is Nick, and I am the director, founder, owner of Triple J. And the whole point of the brand that we have here is to empower digital marketers, entrepreneurs, businessmen and women, and people of like minded, and share with them strategies and marketing tactics being used by retail giants, by other businesses, and tell them and share with them the best ways that they can incorporate it within their personal brand, within their actual business, whatever facet of life. And so we have different shows within the show. Today's show that you're watching right now, I'm going to be going through a deep dive of a marketing case study that I've already done. I've already completed it, and I'm going to showcase with you the entire thing and give you my thoughts along the way and share with you the strategies that this company used to elevate their brand, to elevate their product, to really succeed within their goals pertaining to their campaigns. Other times we have other shows. We have a Q&A section to where basically, just like you would assume, you send in the questions, I give you the answers. There's a couple ways in which you can go about that. The first way is you can message them via LinkedIn at Nick Jeldricks. You can just message me or put a comment in one of my recent posts. Or what you can do is email me your questions at triple J Studios with 2 S's at the end at gmail.com. So those are the 2 ways that you can send me questions, and we're going to do a whole bunch of them. I've gotten some already, and I'm not going to lie. Let's stick to the questions that actually are about business and marketing. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to go too much into it. That's all I'm going to say. Other times on the show, we'll also take a look and scour the internet for emerging marketing trends, news, patterns, and just things that you should be aware about. And I'll give you my take and give an unbiased answer first, and then give a biased answer at the end. There's a couple other shows that we'll do in between, but a little bit more on that later on. Let's stick to the episode we have here. One quick thing before we begin. I have what's called, and I'm going to quote Andy Frisella on this, I have what's called a fee. And no, do not send me money. I'm not looking for any money. I'm not looking for you to follow me on Instagram or LinkedIn. I'm not looking for you to subscribe to my newsletter. You can if you really want to. I'm not going to make you, though. The one thing that I ask is if you find this show valuable, if you find it worthwhile, if you think someone, whether it's a friend, family member, would get something out of it, all I ask is that you just share the show. That's it. So if you find this valuable or entertaining in some way, you get a laugh or you take something away, just share the show. That's literally it. Without further ado, let's get into this first case study. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I've been doing case studies now quite a bit. Been doing about, 12, I think now, which doesn't seem like that much. But the more that I kind of reflect on my time and doing it, it's a decent amount. Like, it's a fair portfolio. But I'm excited to share with you this new one that I just put out literally this morning as I'm creating this podcast episode. And it is about Nike's collaboration with Patta in their new running team product collection. It's really cool, and I want to share with you what's going on with it. So the best way I feel like to introduce it is to share with you my website. So let's take a look here. And this is the website we got going on. So obviously, this is where we're at, Nike and Patta. Look, whether you're into streetwear, whether you're into shoes, or whether you're into running, this is going to get your attention. And the reason why this is so amazing is because of the marketing campaign they did. If they didn't have the campaign that they did for this collection, this product that they have, this thing would not have sold. This wouldn't have done well. But both Nike and Patta did a phenomenal job. And this is the whole case study. This whole podcast here is showcasing with you what it is, how we're going to do it. So I'm basically going to walk you through the entire case study, give you my take on it, and then we're going to go through a couple key takeaway points that I think you should know and that are worthwhile. So I'm going to have a sip of coffee and we're going to get right into it. Those of you that are watching this on YouTube saw me take that sip, but if you're on audio, you didn't. So if you're not on YouTube watching this, I want to head over there. But let's take a look at this, man. Let's take a look and see what's going on. So one of the first things I want to highlight within this case study here is Nike and Patta. This is not their first rodeo. This is not the first time that they've done this. They've been doing collabs for over 18 years. And their actual first collab was in 2006 when Nike and Patta teamed up and did a collaboration on some Air Max models. I believe it was the Air Max 90s or the ones. Don't quote me on that, but one of those two. But since then, they have been killing it. And so, if you don't know what Patta is, Patta essentially, going down here to the second point, is a Dutch sneaker boutique based in Amsterdam that was founded by Edson Sabajo and, oh man, I'm going to butcher this. I'm looking at the name right now. Oh man, Guillaume, that's not right. Guillaume Schmidt in Amsterdam. And so these are two entrepreneurs that came together, saw a problem, and essentially provided a really good solution. What was the problem, you ask? Man, I'm so glad you asked. The biggest problem that this business addressed was very simple. So in America, you can pretty much get sneakers wherever you want. It's not that difficult to find or to acquire basic level shoes. I'm not talking about crazy shoes that sell for $1,000. I'm talking about retail shoes like a Foot Locker, like a Champ Sports. They're readily accessible pretty much everywhere you go outside of like Alaska. Everywhere else is pretty available. Unfortunately, in Europe, particularly in Amsterdam, these two guys realized, man, we don't have that type of accessibility that we want for shoes. We can get some here and there, but we're not getting the same mainstream supply that what America is getting. And so what Sabajo and Schmidt really did was they addressed this problem and began buying and selling shoes similar to what a reseller does within the sneaker world, right? They'll buy a shoe at a low price and then they'll sell it for an upcharge and keep that margin. What these guys eventually did was they kept building and building and building to where now all of a sudden they have a retail empire that they can really begin to leverage. And they actually began to do that just 2 years later in 2006, which is wild to me. Let me put this into perspective. Two guys founded a company. 2 years later, they began working with the biggest retailer relating to sports marketing, sports products in the world. That's nuts. And that's where entrepreneurship can take you. And this made me think of a quote. I found this quote today on social media, so take it for what it is. But it talked about how everything in life is hard. Doesn't matter what it is. I'm going to go on a rant here for a little bit. Life is hard. Really, all it is and comes down to is choosing what your hard or what's difficult for you is, right? And so for entrepreneurship, that's hard, right? Entrepreneurship is hard. Starting a business is hard. Starting a brand is hard. But also working 12-hour days for 40 years is also pretty hard. Pertaining to this case study, running a marathon is hard. But staying overweight is hard. Being unhealthy is hard. It's challenging. So in life, we're going to have different battles. There's no denying that. What it comes down to is choosing the right battles for you and having that critical thinking and discipline to really get to your goals from where you're at today. And that's what Schmidt and Sabajo really did. And they did that super well. So upon opening up their store in 2004, they really began building their mission. And this is where I want to showcase a big point here. So I want to take you to my lovely notes page. If you're seeing this on YouTube, it's a very lovely page. It's really just a Google Doc. And this is a solid collection. So before I get into my first note, let me just showcase with you the actual collection, like what's really in it. So I want to take you to the collection page on Nike. See if it'll take us there. So if you're seeing this on the screen here, if you're listening to audio, this is basically just outlining Nike's collection. This is actually not the page that I was looking for. But here's a cool thing. So on Sneakers app, the Sneakers app is Nike's main way to get more limited collabs and just sneakers and clothing in general. And so Nike released Patta's collection, their collaboration on sneakers. So they released it as of today, May 2nd. And you can kind of take a look here and see about all of the stuff. So they had everything from t-shirts to shorts to racing gear to jackets. They had basically everything you need to run a race, you know, and it's really cool. And what I really like about this collection here, just on a side note, they kept it very simple with the colors. It didn't go crazy. They kept it simple. Black, orange, pink. That's really it. You don't need a whole ton of colors, just enough pop to get your attention. And that's it. They're not overshooting here. That's what I really like about it. But I actually want to show you Patta's page here. So I'm going to go here. This is the page I want to show you. Hopefully you can see it. So Patta's page really gives you a better understanding and idea of what this collection is about. And I encourage you after this video, if you're on audio, to go take a look at it. This collection is wild. In fact, out of all of the collections that Nike and Patta have done, this is by far their biggest one. I don't think they've ever done a collection or collaboration that featured multiple products, multiple pairs of shoes, all within one drop. And I would argue they did a phenomenal job with this. So you can see here, Patta has a lot of cool things. And all this is really cool stuff. Like this racing suit, probably one of my favorite pieces in the collection is their running team race suit. It's a lot of money, but so is their collection. We'll get into that in a minute. We'll mention that later in the video. It's phenomenal. I mean, this is solid stuff. And you can just see it's a very well done website. I would actually argue I like Patta's website far more than Nike's, even though Nike's is very simple, bare bones. It gets to a point where it's almost too simple. And yes, people say less is more, but at some point, less is better than nothing. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But let's take a look at this case study here. So obviously, Nike's featured this new collection, has everything from shorts, shirts, jackets, racing suits, and more. Without a doubt, the standout piece in the collection, if you were to say, Nick, what is the number one thing you could get for free? If Patta came to me and they said, Nick, what do you want? I'm telling them without hesitation, it is their varsity jacket. This thing is phenomenal. And we'll mention this later on too. But you can see here, based off this, LeBron James introduced this jacket. Let me tell you, this gets your attention. This jacket gets your attention. Not only is it just LeBron, but it's just the jacket in general. It's phenomenal. Unfortunately, I don't want to pay $600 for a jacket. So I'm going to spend that to the wayside. But they did a great job. This collection was great. They had a whole boatload of stuff. But I want to get into my first point here and kind of give you some main takeaways from this case study that I want to highlight. So one of the big ones that I want to mention is the importance of a brand's ethos. How important is a brand's ethos? Sorry, I'm trying to figure this. There we go. How important is a brand's ethos? Let me tell you this. It is one of, I would say it's a top 3 thing for me as of how important it is for your brand. If your brand does not prioritize its ethos, its messaging, its mission within their products or service, your business is going to tank. And I don't really care what type of product you have. It's just not going to last. Whether that is through authenticity, whether that is through being genuine, whether that's having fast service, whether that's superior quality, whatever that is for you, you have to make sure it is essential for you to make sure that your brand's ethos is high up in terms of the priority. As far as Pattas go, let's take a look at what their ethos is. I would think one of the biggest things here, as I quote, the greatest factor that attributed to Patta's quick success was its close family knit oriented branding that prioritized collaboration and community at the cornerstone of its ethos. How does Patta do this? How do they promote this to their products? And how do you promote family within like running equipment and gear? So it's a great question. Well, let me ask you this. Look at the image on the right here. And if you're curious about what it is in audio, it basically is a whole group of the Patta running team with their jackets on with some of the gear from the collection. Let me ask you this. When you see a group that is together, that is involved, that is in unison, that moves collectively as one, what does that promote? You can say a lot, but I would say it is without a doubt. It's about family, being close knit. One of the biggest problems, especially within retail, let me talk to you about this. One of the biggest problems I see within retail is they have a hard time, they have a challenge of connecting with their audience in a more emotional way. A lot of times you see brands, especially big name brands, bringing in billions with a B, billions of dollars in revenue, yet they struggle to bring that emotional piece in just because they have so much money and they cover such a vast area. What Pata does super well is yes, they are a big company that spans not across Europe and Amsterdam, but also globally within the United States as well. They bring exactly this here. They bring their ethos, they hone in on it through their close knit, family oriented branding. This right here is about family oriented branding. This is why it gets people from point A to point B. I see this and I'm attracted to it. I'm attracted to this type of marketing and this style for a lot of reasons. One of which being this promotes its ethos. And marketing campaigns have to have that. It is an essential when you're creating a brand, when you're creating an ethos, you have to have an emotion, a character, a story to build on because that's going to help you sell. We'll talk about that as one of our final points for this case study. That plays a huge role. And Pata killed it with this. But even other brands do a good job of this as well. Let's take a step back. Let's take a look at other brands that do this well. Let's start with probably the one that everybody knows about and one that you probably have. Okay. I'm holding up my phone here. If you're looking up on audio, I'm holding my iPhone to the camera. You can kind of see that's an Apple iPhone. Okay. Now, what does Apple do well? What does Apple do better than anybody else? If you were to describe Apple in one word, what would it be? I'll give you a second to think about that. I'm going to let you ponder for a minute. Chances are you would say simplicity. At least that's what I would say. I mean, if you're cool, you'd say simplicity. Everything from the product packaging to setting up the phone or the Mac or the iPad, whatever it is, to setting up the software, updating the software, downloading music, downloading games, whatever it is so easy to do. And there is a reason why lots of people don't just have one Apple product, they have several. Okay. I probably have, gosh, what? I don't even know, at least three Apple products. Okay. Like the computer I'm recording on now, my phone, I have AirPods when I go run. Like I'm training for a 100-mile race right now, an ultra marathon. I need something that's going to last, that lasts a long time when I'm running, but that also helps me when I need to really study or when I really need to work, get stuff done. AirPods are great for that for me. Okay. I could go out and get a pair of like Beats earbuds or other Bluetooth headphones, Bose headphones, whatever. Just doesn't feel same for me. That's why I go for it. Apple has their its ethos at the cornerstone of what it does. There's a reason why brands that really hone in on this do well. And that wasn't even that wasn't even one of the main reasons why Patta did well with the collection. That was just me spewing another fact at you. Some of the actual reasons why are listed here. Let's talk about this. How do you address a target market? First point is effectively addressing target markets. How do you do that? How do you do that well? It's difficult, especially when you're talking about running gear that's kind of streetwear related, that's kind of, I guess, hype for a lack of a better word. How do you find that group well and easy? It's not so easy as you might think. And man, like you take a look at the price of some of this stuff, it's expensive. Like t-shirts, $60, shorts, $70, shoes, 160. That varsity jacket that I was talking about, $600. So who is really in this market that wants all this running equipment and gear that can actually afford this? Like that's difficult. Like not everyone can shell out $600. Well, this was not an accident. In fact, Pata knew what would sell and what wouldn't. And so obviously, since Pata products tend to be more expensive, its target market generally wasn't geared towards younger audiences. When I say younger, I'm talking about like 18, 21, basically high school to college level age college kids for a lot of reasons. One, they just don't have the money. Where most college kids are not going to be able to spend $600 on a jacket. Okay. They're probably using that for rent, most likely. I don't know. So naturally, the target market shifts up. And so the general range within this product line that Nike had was within 22 to 35. People that are old enough to have enough money for this stuff, but are young enough that they are interested in outdoor sports like marathons, like races, like working out and fitness. It's very popular within this range. And so part of what Nike and Patta's campaign was they launched several social posts around this in the latest collaboration, which found significant success regarding like the engagement rates they had, the comments, the shares, and other, key performance indicators or KPIs that they do. So I want to share with you just a couple posts that kind of illustrate that point. And so the first post I want to share with you is just a simple post that Patta had on their Instagram. It's just this. You take a look here. These are the shoes from the collection. They're the Hirachis. If you are listening to this on audio, two things. One, you should definitely take a look on YouTube to see how it's going as far as camera wise. But two, go look up the Patta Hirachis, the Team Air Hirachis. These are really cool. And people have mixed emotions on these, but whether you like them or not, this post gets your attention. Not only because it has 4 slides, but they're all close-ups on all of the different colorways. So here it's like a pink fuchsia. You have, I forget what color this is. It looks like the white cool colorway. I don't know if it's that, but it's like a yellow sandstone type of color. And then you have the black and gray, all of which are pretty cool. And I actually do like. My favorite detail by far is the Patta running team logo right in the middle. I think that's solid. I think that's sweet. And it's a great use of branding as well. But this is just a simple social post that gets your attention. And what's cool about this, not only, this is what's cool about sneaker social media. Not only do fans see this and get the attention from it, but also other sneaker media outlets do. So if you follow Complex Sneakers, if you follow, there's a couple other resale pages, they see this and they're like, oh, new shoes coming out. We got to let our people know because they generally have other businesses on the side that they do this for. And it's very common that they do it. And then the second post I want to share with you is a simple Instagram video by Patta. So let's take a look at it. Showcase their collection. Doing a sneak peek at it. It's very subtle though. But that's it. Big thing though, they embraced. They showed family, they showed love, they showed community. What does that do? Promotes its ethos. Like we said, it's a big time deal. Well, let's continue on. It effectively addressed the target market. Really simple. That brings me to my second point that I want to share with you, which is the sniper method of marketing. Sniper method. What does that even mean? I don't know if anyone has ever used the term sniper method, but you know what? If they have, great. If they haven't, I'm going to be the first one. So, what does it mean? Well, let's break this down based off what a sniper does and what other, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this on YouTube, but other machines do. So, you could either have a spray where it shoots out a bunch. It goes off right in a row, shoots out 50, and it's kind of like you're just shooting blindly in the dark. Like if you're on Call of Duty, you're just spamming the shoot button and hoping something sticks. Okay. The sniper method is the complete opposite, where you take your time, you're very patient, and you line up your shot to make sure that it hits it direct, that you're perfect, you're accurate, hit it right on, you nail it. That's the whole goal. So the sniper method that what Patta did was specifically for its influencer marketing. And like I already hinted at before, the sniper method was used for their influencer, none other than Nike's big time connection, LeBron James. Like we already mentioned here, when you see the biggest star in the NBA for 20 years, he's been the biggest star. Okay. When you see this guy, Nike's one of, I would say, a top three Nike athlete. I would say top three for sure. When you see this guy walking in pregame with the Lakers and he's wearing the varsity jacket, first up, it gets your attention. The jacket naturally does. But when you put the face of the NBA in that jacket, whoa, what's he wearing? Where can I get that? And how much does it cost? All of these things are running through customers' heads because they see this and they're like, whoa, what is that? They go and they look it up. They look in the comments or they look online and then they go to the collection. They look and see like, oh, what else can I get? Oh, I can get a t-shirt. Oh, I can get these cool Huarache shoes. All of a sudden, it's this spiral of what products can I really get? What products can I afford? They killed it with this. This is the sniper method. Now, the spray method would be if they gave this to 50 athletes in the NBA, all of which, they could be good or they could be okay. And maybe it's not even the NBA. Maybe it's baseball, whether it's hockey, football for the draft. I don't know. You give it to 50 people in those major sports. Something might hit, something might stick, but it might not because it's so available. You might not like it. This is the sniper method, something that has been proven to work time in and time out. And I think they did a great job with this. Like, no problem. I think they killed it with this. Let me know, though, if you are on YouTube, let me know in the comments. What's your take on this? Would you prefer the sniper method or would you prefer the spray method? What would it be? I think it depends. Here's my personal take. I think it depends on the product and I think it depends on the shoes. With this product in particular, with the jacket, this is a one hit deal. Like you want to give this to the guy, the man, and you want him to run with it. Sometimes literally. Other times you might want to not do that. And you might just want to say, hey, you know what? I want to give this to a bunch of people and see what their take is on it, which is exactly what Nike and Travis Scott did with the Jumpman Jack. So if you haven't seen my case study on that, make sure you do so because it is very valuable and kind of displays the spray method where basically Nike and the Travis Scott team sent out a bunch of shoes of the Jumpman Jack to sneaker influencers, people that generally had a say or had a following within the sneaker industry. Sent it to them for free and they reviewed it. They took a look at it. They got a whole bunch of buzz around it. And the spray method is very effective for reaching a wide variety of people at the least effective way. Not the least effective. The most effective way that is the most cost effective or the least expensive. There we go. Of a way to do it. Now, did Patta pay LeBron more money for him to wear this jacket? That I don't know. There's a chance they also could have just given him the jacket for free and say, wear this at your next pregame. Okay. If I'm LeBron, I'm like, okay, this jacket's cool. Promote the brand, still getting some money out of it. Not a bad deal. So it all depends on your perspective. And I think with what the sniper method with this particular campaign did was the one to do it. So that's the sniper method. This third way was they leveraged run clubs to promote the collection. So at this point, you probably know that Patta has its own running team. And if you saw on the sneakers, let's take a look at this again. I'm going to pull up the sneakers here for you just to give you a better idea. Okay. So you can see here on the sneakers, I'm going to pull this up. That logo, my friends, is Patta's logo for the running team. And so what they did well was they promoted this product line they did with Nike at different run clubs. I mean, what better way to do it than to do it at running events that this team currently does? And what's cool about the Patta running team is it's not just like a typical run club. It's not something where it's like, oh, like I'll do it here and there or whatever. It's a pretty dedicated team that not only shows up to events like 5Ks and marathons and everything of that sorts, but they genuinely care about their community and they have a camaraderie and they just do a great job building family, like we talked about with Ethos. And so I just wanted to highlight this quick post here. It's on my Instagram by one of the members. They're all wearing varsity jackets. They're all hanging out. And this was after the London Marathon this past year in 2024. They're just hanging out. They're just having a good time. And just this subtle thing right here, this honestly, I'm sure this individual didn't even plan on having this be a marketing piece, let alone in a marketing case study. But this is what it's about. Everything about Patta and its messaging and its brand is all within this one picture. That's all it is. It's all in this picture right here. It builds the ethos, it builds the camaraderie, it showcases the products, showcases their most coveted product as well. And they're going out and doing this with their running team at a world major event at the London Marathon. I mean, what more could you want out of this? It is one of the most effective ways to reach your desired audience. When you get a run club together, people that want to be there, that support Patta, that support the brand, are going to show up. They love their products and they love to run. So when you combine those two things for the people at the run club, guess who Patta knows is already interested in their products? The people attending are. It's so easy. And they didn't really have to spend money. They just said, hey, listen, we want to go out and we're going to do an event a mile away from our headquarters in Amsterdam. Be there at 12 o'clock. Boom. Let's say you get 30, 40 people. You pretty much know that those 30 to 40 people are already interested in the products that you're going to sell that you maybe haven't even introduced yet. It's that simple and it's that effective. I mean, really, it is. So that's what I really enjoy personally about Patta's community. You know, it's really all it is. And then the last point I want to mention here before going over to our next point is talking about the wide accessibility for US and EU customers. I think it would be silly for Patta if they didn't make their collection accessible when that was the whole point in them founding the business in the first place. So they made sure they covered all the bases within that. And so Patta released its collection in Europe on April 26th on its website. Let me go back here. They showcased this collection on their website on the 26th. And then on Nike sneakers, they showcased this on May 2nd, which is today of when I'm filming this. So they launched it on separate days, but still made it accessible for both people. And as you can see, it's sold out. Like pretty much everything sold out, except for a few items. Vast majority of it, though, sold out. That's the power of marketing. And then I want to take you to my next point here, real quick. I'm going to do a detour. The third point I want to mention is this: why everything needs a logo. I'm going to give a hot take. Patta's running team logo is the reason why this collection sold out when it came to the products. I'll say it again. Patta's logo is the reason why this collection did so well. Let me illustrate this further. Let's take a look at this jacket. This jacket right here. If this jacket did not have the running team logo right in the middle, that X with the panther on it, if it did not have that logo, would this jacket still sell for $600? I can't say it would. It would still sell, don't get me wrong, but I don't think $600 would be the price tag. I think it would probably be more of $400 or $300, heck, even two. But $600 for this. This is what makes the brand. Let me just showcase. Let me just, you know what? Getting off on a tangent. Let me share with you this. Let's go through the collection one by one. All the shoes have the logo, front and middle, front and center. Okay. Patta's logo on the jacket. Patta's logo right here on a warm up. It's like that for those two. Obviously on the back, racing suit, same deal. It's like that on the rig vest here, has its logo. On all of the t-shirts that you see, has it on the shorts as well. Looks like they have team leggings here, also featured on there. So their logo is on every single product. Would I prefer the bigger logo with the running team? Yeah, I think that's cooler. But either way, I think they did a good job. Having a logo is important, right? If you don't have a logo for even not side businesses, but I guess just side quests and projects, how do people associate the brand without an image in their head? Here's an example. Yes, I can think of a bunch of words right now, or like, let's take a look at a movie. Okay. You can probably understand what the plot is of a movie, but you might not remember it if you don't have a picture to remember from, right? If I just told you to listen to a movie audio, you might remember the movie, but you remember way more if you watch the movie. That's way more memorable. And that's exactly what the logo does. Yes, people might remember your brand if the service is there, if the run clubs are there, but what can you associate? Or like, oh, this is what it is, or oh, this is what the brand is, or this is what they do, or this is what's recognizable about them, or this is their calling card. Like you can literally name almost everything and it has a logo, whether it's a business, a person, a character from a TV show like the Joker, like literally anything has a logo. And it's why you need one. It's why a lot of people invest a lot of time into it, and something that you should do for your business as well. Moving on, I want to talk quickly about how Patta can elevate future marketing campaigns. Now, let's review what we've done so far. We know this is the biggest collection that Patta has had within the 18-year relationship that they've had with Nike. We know that. We also know that its running team collection and products are well labeled, well branded, and they utilize great marketing strategies to help them get their point across. And hence is why a lot of their collection sold out. But there's always room for growth. Doesn't matter. This is a great campaign. I'm reviewing a great one right now, but there's always room for growth. So how can Patta and Nike improve their campaigns so they can continue their relationship in the future with even better collaborations, with even better campaigns? Like, what can they do? Well, let's start with what Patta did really well with their stuff here in Europe. Their running team, they found their exact target market very quickly because of the events that they've held in Europe, whether it was within Amsterdam, London, wherever. Fortunately for Patta, their improvement, they don't have to reinvent the wheel here. They really don't have to. What they really can do instead is they go and they do the exact same thing in America. Take the run club and go to the Eugene Marathon. Take the running club events and take a look at the Boston Marathon. Do something at Chicago, other world majors. This is not only going to get a bunch of eyes on your product, but also just better brand awareness and just a stronger fortification on what your ethos really is and who you are as a company. It's tough to go international in business. There's no lie on that. That's why a lot of businesses struggle because there's constantly different cultural barriers. Well, fortunately for Patta, it seems as if they already kind of know what barriers there are because they already do somewhat well, actually very well, in US markets today. So why not just continue to leverage and use that momentum into their running club within the Americas? And they can base it in whatever city they want, whether it's LA, New York, Chicago, Miami, Denver, whatever epicenter you want, they can do it. And that's something I would really want them to see, and which would be super cool. If it was based here in Denver, which is where I'm at, yeah, I'd go run with them. I think it'd be cool. Would you not want to see this here? I don't know. And then, secondly, the other thing I'd point out is they can increase influencer marketing. Yes, Pata hit a home run with this, no doubt, within their sniper method, but they can try other methods. And maybe it's just variant dependent upon which campaign that they do, right? Maybe if they have a campaign in the future that's maybe just a sneaker, maybe they have that widespread availability, like what Travis Scott did with the Jumpman Jack. If it's a bigger campaign, maybe they continue to stick with the sniper marketing method. But maybe instead of LeBron, it's Roger Federer or it's Ronnie Fogg. I don't know. It could be anybody. Well, probably not Ronnie because it's a competitor, I guess, in that sense at Kith. But you get what I'm saying? Like, depending on the collection you have, you can really do well and it can really show. And it's a big deal. And I'm thinking of past campaigns right now that I want to showcase with you that I think would be great. Here's one. Let me go through here. I'm going to show up on my screen here. So this collection came out a couple of years ago. It is the Patta Air Max 1. Some of you might be familiar with this shoe. When this shoe first came out, oh my goodness, this shoe blew up the internet. It had everybody going crazy because the Patta Air Max 1 has similar qualities, but a completely new spin on it. You can take a look here. If you're on audio, just look up Patta Air Max 1. It's super cool. It has that wavy feature at the bottom. And especially within this blue colorway, I think this looks the best. They had a couple others as well. They had a dusty orange, they had a pink, a black, and a white. So I think there was 5 total. My humble opinion is that this one's the best. It resembles the wave the best, and it just looks cool. It's a nice, cool kind of. I think the color is dusty cactus, perhaps, is what Nike said before. It says noise aqua here. But, anyways, this shoe right here, if they just wanted to debut one, this would be a perfect shoe to do the spray method for. Give it to all the sneaker influencers out there. Let them review the product. Let them give away a pair and see and build that awareness out. Get it out there, right? The sniper method is cool because it's just a shining light. It's like a lighthouse that's fortified in there and everyone comes to it. The spray method is here's the shoe and they send it out. They send it outward. I'm doing the outward movement with my hands on the video. But this is a great shoe to do it for. And I think to iterate what I'm trying to say is it's dependent on the product and the campaign you have in terms of what method you do. So before you can build a marketing campaign, you have to know what your product is and you have to know what would be the best way to do it. And I think Patta did this well, and I think they did it perfectly. I mean, just taking a look at all their products here, they killed it. If they did the influencer way with this, I think it'd be overwhelming. Imagine a sneaker YouTuber unboxing all of this. It'd be a lot. They probably wouldn't want to do it, but that's just my own thoughts on that. And then the final point that I want to make here at the bottom, my last point. Ooh, let's see if we can do it. There we go. The final point I want to mention is people don't buy products, they buy stories. I'm going to say that again. People don't buy products, they buy stories. So, what's Patta's story here? Patta's story is built on the cornerstone of its ethos, which is a close knit, family oriented brand. Okay. Now, what's the product? The product is a bunch of running gear and equipment that runners can use for races, for trainings, whatever. And then they can show off that they're part of this exclusive running team collection with different pieces like the jacket, like the shoes, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to wear too. So, what's the story here? The story within this collection, particularly, is that Patta is a family brand that not only is about streetwear, but is about running. It's a multi versatile brand that has a great light that is promoting positivity in any sort of way. That's what Patta is about. And they killed it with this. Like I said before, the big difference between a product and story is its emotion. It's the emotion that it has. Okay. So this is why a lot of brands like Nike and Adidas tend to struggle with that. And it's because they don't have the emotions within all their running gear products. Not most of the time. They have it so when you go into a Nike store, you see all the products. You might see someone running as an image or someone going, or maybe they have a signature athlete up on the wall. Yes, you see them wearing it, but what's the story behind it? What's the emotion you get when you see this image right here? And I'm going to go to the case study here on my website. Let's go to the top here. You see this image. What do you think? You think, well, there's a bunch of people here on the left. You see everyone wants a jacket on the right. I think family. I think community. I think people coming together for a common denominator or a cause. That's what I think. And then on the right, I think, man, that's a cool jacket that not only I want, that everyone wants. So you kind of get a glimpse of we're including people and wanting them in our community, but we also want to let you know that our stuff is limited and that our stuff is coveted and wanted and that everyone wants in. Isn't that a great place to be? If you're Patta, isn't that a cool thing to have? That's just something to think about and something to ponder. Now, what are my final thoughts on this collection? Would I personally get any of this stuff? Due to my financial situation at the moment, not now. I love this collection. I think this is phenomenal. I love the running jackets. As a runner myself, I think this is super cool, especially this varsity jacket. This is by far the greatest looking jacket I've ever seen. Okay. Would it pay $600 for it? It's tough. But the fact that I'm wrestling with that shows that Patta's products and its marketing are doing its job. It's sold out. This brand sold out and it did a great job. And every time Patta and Nike come out with something new, when they tease a little bit, everyone gets excited for it because they know it's going to be really good. And that's how it is. Very looking forward to it. And the conclusion that I really put here was basically reiterating everything. From sneakers to racing gear, Patta continues to innovate and push the boundaries of sports collaboration. With a social media presence paired with its run club and influencer marketing, Patta nailed its campaign for its newest product line with Nike. This collection certainly got everyone's attention from an aesthetics perspective, but we cannot confirm if it'll help improve my marathon performance. You know, if this jacket or these racing suits help with my running performance, I'm here for it. I might pay $250 for it if I'm trying to qualify for Boston. But until then, I don't know. Either way, this is a successful collection from Nike, and Patta and Nike did a great job with its product, its collaboration, its marketing in all of its facets. So if you want to learn more about this or other case studies, I encourage you to go to my website at triplejstudios.com. Or if you want to, you can go to the case study, which is linked on my LinkedIn, sent it out there as well, both of which have it. One quick note too, before we head out, if you want to take a look at any podcasts in the past or going into the future, and especially for this one, they're all going to be posted within the blog page itself. So this podcast here for the Patta Running Team collection, this video and podcast will be up on that blog page. So go take a look at that if you want to review it. But that's it for me, guys. Remember, don't forget to share the show, and I'll see you in the next one.